Welcome back to Alabama Politics This Week. David Pearson, Josh Moon. And as you know, we're going to have an open Senate seat here with Tommy Tuberville running for governor. And so, with that in mind, we are glad that we have Democrats who are vying for that seat. And one of them is Mark Wheeler. He lives here in Alabama. We stress that first and foremost.
Well, that's a novel concept. How about that?
He actually lives here, and he's running to represent the state.
I'm
Mark,
not sure that makes you electable at this point. I'm sorry.
How you doing, Mark?
I'm good, David. How are you this morning?
Good. So just to further drill down on that point, where exactly do you live, Mark?
So I live in a little out of the way town over called Heflin. So it's right smack in the middle of I-20, right between Birmingham and Atlanta. Pretty easy to find.
Okay. All right. Okay. So you live in Heflin. I think you grew up in where did you grow up? I saw it and then it just dropped out of my head. Where'd you grow up?
Well, it's Heflin too, right? So greater Heflin area, if you can say that for a small town. But yeah, just right on the outside of it. But no, I've been there my whole life, right? Born, raised.
Okay.
It's been
okay. All right. So
I like the idea of the greater Heflin area.
The Heflin metropolitan area. Yeah.
I live in the greater. I grew up in the greater Decatur area. So yeah, it's
So what is your
fancy, right?
Yeah. So Mark, tell me why are you running?
So there's a lot of reasons, right? So going into it, I've talked a lot about the future of my kids, not just my kids, but the kids of our community as a whole, right? What does life look like for them 10, 20, 30 years from now with AI coming online, robotics starting to take over jobs, things like that, right? And if you drill down into that a little bit more, I keep saying it's congressional reform, right? Because I feel like Congress is wholly responsible for the nature of our economy. And if you go just a little bit further than that, I feel like it really kind of falls into employee rights, labor rights, right? Something that's come up with me recently. The last couple of days, I've spent a lot of time with some labor guys, and they've been talking about the American Labor Power Act and American Labor Power and Economic Democracy Act, right? That keeps coming up. Anyways, I say all that to say, really, it comes down to what does the future look like for our kids? Do they have a path to work? Do they have a future in front of them? And I feel like nobody else in our community has stepped forward to really put in the effort. That's genuinely wanting to put in that effort to make life better, not just for us now, but for our kids in the future. And so if no one else does it, it falls to me, right? I have that responsibility to try to make things better.
Got it. Let me ask you one other question before Josh jumps in. I see here, I was able to find your bio page here, and I see that you identify as a Southern Baptist and you work as a chemist. Yep. What else should we know about you that perhaps is not out there?
Well, it may not be super obvious. So I've only been a chemist for just a little over a year now, right? So the vast majority of my working life has been factory work, right? 60, 72, 84-hour mandatory weeks in various factories. For the last 10 years, it's been in a wire mill, right? And with that overtime, and with my current employer, I was able to work at night, go to school during the day, and then get a degree in chemistry, right? So I got a bachelor's of chemistry from Jack State. And then once I accomplished that degree and they said, man, this guy put in this work, he did all this stuff, we'll give him a job as a chemist, right? And so you could say, I guess, that I got promoted into the chemist role coming from the factory floor. So I put the work in to try to be better myself, right? And now that I'm here and I'm working just a 40-hour week, I have time to try to do things like this campaign.
You know, I think you're only the second chemist that I've ever known. The first one was a guy named Walter White. It didn't end so well for him. But it's you know, I will say though, I think I've had some family members who called themselves chemists. But I don't know that y'all are on the same level. But it's yeah. So. All right, let's be real here. All right, so to get into this thing and to win and to do the good things that you're talking about doing, you're going to have to get votes. You're going to have to get people's attention. You're going to have to overcome the redness of this state. So you've been I don't know how long you've kind of been kicking this around and how long you've been out talking to people and stuff. What do you feel like is the biggest hurdle you've got to get over right now in terms of getting a message out to people, being able to be seen, being able to let folks know that, hey, listen, if you're a working stiff in this state, that Democrats, me specifically, is the best option for you, because these other guys have proven that they don't really give a damn about you. Look what they're doing right now with the guy, the orange fella that's leading the way here, that's talking about not even giving back pay to the furloughed federal workers, who's done all sorts of stuff to kill unions with the union busting legislation that they've had. How can you get that message out to people?
Well, Josh, it's hard, man. So let's see. I guess you would say officially announced in January of this year, right? January 19th, the night before inauguration. Mm-hmm. I guess in part of that was because of stress and frustrations about what Trump was going to bring and what the future looked like under his leadership, right? Because I'd already knew back during his first campaign that he wasn't a guy that I could support. And so going into it, I didn't ask for permission. I didn't call up the state party and say, hey, can you help me? I got on Google and did it like everything else in my life. I figured out how to make it work. And so, research was my best friend, figured out how to fill out the paperwork and jump into it. And, over time, the campaign has grown and gained tons of volunteer offers and a lot of momentum. But I guess more to your point, what is the biggest challenge there? For me, it's been asking for fundraising, right? I struggle so hard because I feel slimy and nasty calling somebody up and saying, hey, I know you don't know me, but trust me, give me some money and I'm going to make your life better, right? Because to me, that feels gross. I hate doing it. I absolutely hate doing it. And actually, I made my first cold call for this campaign yesterday. Miserable experience. I got through it, and maybe it'll get better over time, but it's been hard. And so how do we reach these voters? How do we make this happen? My campaign staff keeps telling me it's fundraising, right? Because if you have money, then you can reach people. You can spend money on ads, and who likes ads, right? But then you can put money into ads, and then you can pay your staff, and then you can help craft these messages that are so necessary. In a perfect world, an ideal world, I would hope that it would just be enough for people to look at my work ethic and say, man, he's a working man like me. I can resonate with that. I can trust him to do right by me in the government, right? But that's not enough.
No, people are dumb. Look at who they voted for. It's just, really, it's, it's honestly, it's like the Alpha endorsements that, the Farm Federation came out the other day and endorsed a bunch of Republican candidates, while at the same time, all of their farms are going under and farmers are going hungry and declaring bankruptcy under the policies of the Republicans, but they just keep backing them. It's just insanity. So when you get, what do you feel like is your base message? If you had to, because listen, believe me, I know how you feel about the cold call and asking people for money as somebody who's had to raise money to keep one small podcast, up and viable. Which is why I thank God every day for the fine people at the Porch Creeks. But it's if you had to call out and tell somebody in a couple of sentences, like what you're about, why they should vote for you, what's your base message to them?
I think that's got to be that my base message at its core is that I want to make life better for you. And that comes a lot of different ways without getting too into it, right? But it comes with labor rights. It comes with making sure that your children have a future, making sure we have access to healthcare, making sure that the American dream is actually thriving and can be attainable by the average person, right? And to make all of that happen, I in long term, perpetuity, lasting forever, right? I think that comes with congressional reform. But at the end of the day, I think it really is just making sure the American dream is attainable.
Yeah. It just it seems like that's slipping away from a lot of folks. And a lot of people are angry about it. And a lot of people don't really understand why. And it also seems like those same people, though, continue to get caught up in the messaging from the right, which is, got to give them credit. They're just the best at messaging. They really are. They're fantastic.
Well, yeah. Their marketing's been great, right?
Yeah. It's completely screwing people over, but the marketing of it has been fantastic. there've been a number. So so was Bernie Madoff's. But and so but how do you in this state? Is there a way? Do you think that there's a viable way for you to explain to people how this way that they've been doing it for their lives is wrong and your way is right?
I think really the challenge that we're seeing is voters are buying into propaganda and they don't know that it's propaganda, right? Because there's so many hot button issues or feeling issues that drive voters, right? We start talking about things like abortion or men and women's sports, and at the end of the day, do those things really impact the federal government long term? Not really, I mean, and especially like trans people in sports. I don't think that that's a decision the federal government should make, right? At the end of the day, that should be up to the governing body for that sport. So I really think the way that we move forward, the way that we create unity and help pull people back away from that propaganda is not focusing on those stances and then instead turning and saying, well, these are the things that really matter, right? And talk to them about those kitchen table policies, right? Talk to them about how expensive their healthcare has gotten, how the cost of eggs are still through the roof, how gas isn't coming down, how your wages are constantly staying flat while inflation is constantly going up around you. Because that pisses me off. I would think it would make everybody else upset too, right? Inflation's up 20% and you get what, a 2% raise for the year and told you're lucky for it? No, that's not how it should be.
Yeah, no, you're right. And it shouldn't be, but listen, man, I hope you can pull this off. And
I appreciate that, Josh.
I know this, that you are going to be way smarter than the guy who's held the seat. Okay. Who couldn't spell chemistry.
Right? Probably not.
Yeah, but in all seriousness, this is the sort of things that's needed. I hope that you can, that the state party can get behind you and get you some help that you need, and help get the messaging out. And if we can help, let us know. We'll do what we can here as well, because we desperately need a two-party solution in this state to kind of push things along. And, but man, good luck to you, Mark. We really do wish you well.
Yeah, take it easy.
Thank you so much, Josh. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you giving me your time, right? Go on the podcast and get to know you and some of your constituents or your followers, I guess is the right word there. But no, it means a lot.
We don't know what to call them either. They don't pay for anything, so right.
You can't call them subscribers, followers.
Right. No, listen. Thanks, Mark. Good luck, man. We'll do all we can and get your name out there. Appreciate you coming on with us.
For sure. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Thank you. That is Mark Wheeler. Listen, if you're looking for a smart alternative to what we've been experiencing, I think I know your guy out there, Mark Wheeler. Y'all give him a ring.